Hi everyone, my name is Delphine and it's my first time recording a video like this, but Corona made me do it. No, I've been wanting to record something like this for a long time. But yeah, admittedly, I've always been too coward or insecure to do it. But I really believe that these are times in which we should show up and speak up more than ever. So I really wanted to do this today. Thank you very much in advance for your kind and listening ear and for giving me a little moment of your precious time to share what I'd like to speak to you about today. So, for as long as I can remember, I've been a person with certain sensitivities to the world. Sensitivities in the sense that I've never really been able to detach myself from the sorrow, the suffering, the pain of other people and other living beings in our world today and when I was younger. And it's something that maybe some of you will recognize, but growing up, I always heard, Delphine, you're too much of an idealist. The world doesn't work the way you see it. The world is not a nice place and you will not be able to change the world or change the people in it or, help everyone. And admittedly, for quite some time, I let this road paved with good intentions become my road as well, but only to figure out very recently, very profoundly actually, that road is not my road, and it might not be your road. You see, the thing is, even in dark times like these of global pandemic, I really do believe, I really do have faith in the fact that things can change for the better, and things can change for the good. And you can change, we can be the change we wish to see in the world. I completely agree with the great Gandhi. When people tell me these days that they don't really believe in change, I always think of the comparison with a football team, a soccer team. Now, I'm not the biggest soccer fan. I don't know that much about soccer, but I know there are 11 players in a team. And I always like to think what is a soccer game? What is a soccer team when suddenly one player needs to leave the field? How does the game change? So one person does make a change. One person is able to make a change. So I like to think of that for myself as well, that I can make a change. I can make a positive change. And I think so can you. And if we all come together, imagine the global change that we can create as one. 7 billion people, that would be amazing, but maybe slightly less. We can make a big change. Now, why am I mentioning this theme of change? Well, Corona crisis for me, actually since day one, I've thought what will happen is that all of the weaknesses, the flaws of our world, of our societies, will be put in the broad daylight for everyone to see. It will be much harder for us to escape them. For example, I've lived in South Africa for a while, which almost every year tops the list of being one of the most unequal countries in the world, unfortunately. And already now, after only a few days of lockdown in South Africa, you can really see how apparent this inequality is in the treatment of people in the richer suburbs and in the townships. Also in the fact that a lot of people who are already underprivileged, who already live in poor circumstances, will now not be able to count on a job, not be able to count on an income which helps them provide the little money they need to feed their children, to pay off their homes, to pay off any debts they have, to have a social life like we all want, right? We're all social beings. It has also, the inequality in our society here in the West. Let's think about the US, with its poor social network. That's going to become way more apparent. And here in Belgium, where I live, in Europe, what we're really going to see is the pain that comes with our individualism. and with our consumerism. So I think in these times, there's no way that we as humans can hide from our flaws, from ourselves anymore. And that's why I think, yeah, we can sit back and drown ourselves in sorrows and think, oh my God, the world is such a shit show, pardon my French. The world is so bad. The world is this person is that. And we can point a finger and blame each other, and we can act self-righteously and say, oh, this person's not following the rules. Why, maybe on any other given day, we're also not the most responsible people, you know? So we can turn into that. We can be led by fear politics and fear policy. We can be led by negativity and frustration and desperation. And in the end of the day, we can turn our heads and walk away and think about ourselves and our little family and our little community. Or we can do the very opposite, which in many ways is actually the opposite of what we have learned as kids. Growing up in privilege, maybe, growing up in this society, we could, for once, allow ourselves to connect with other human beings, to revisit empathy, to find out again what it's like to feel what others feel, and to allow others to touch our hearts, to touch ourselves, and to respond, not react, but respond consciously and with love and kindness and compassion from that part of ourselves. Imagine if we could do that. Imagine which change we could develop, and imagine how our individual lives would change, but also how our world, how our society would change. Because what we've been doing for years and decades and centuries is choosing economy above humanity. It's choosing rising statistics of whatever currency we have that we label as sole value above the benefit of us, human beings, not just me, not just you, not just my kids, not just my parents, not just my grandparents, but everyone. New people entering my country, me going into a new country, people of different races, different skin colors, different gender, different sexual preference. Everyone, truly everyone, any human being, if we could focus on what we share as beautiful souls, rather than focus on all our differences, wouldn't our world look completely different? If we could put humanity above this illusion of safety that we seem to strive with all the wars that create, to then pay a lot of taxes to pay for the weapons, to pay for the wars we need to fund, in which we're going to lose our kids. Why? For which reason did we start the war in the first place? Do we still remember? And what about choosing humanity as us, humans, children of Mother Earth, brothers and sisters of all living beings on this planet? I know this sounds so airy-fairy, but that's what we are. That's what we are, and that's what we see now as well. Look at our worlds. While this disease, this lung disease, or this respiratory disease, has us literally gasping for air, the planet is breathing again, because we're giving it a break. We're giving her a break. The planet is very generous, but it doesn't have unlimited resources. Its generosity is not endless. So what if we could connect with all of these things and a lot more, but what if we could connect with our roots as humans? I truly believe that as humans, there are 3 things that we really need. I believe we need nature, we need community, and we need spirituality. And I don't mean religion. I think spirituality is much more than religion. It's something that unites us. It doesn't divide us. So what if we could go back to that? And what if we could go back to really feeling, to really caring about and for each other? What if we could go back to believing in ourselves? What if we could go back to sharing even only a little bit of our privilege and our wealth? Yes, we need it too, but there might be someone else who needs it just as much as we do, or even more. What if we could just let go of a few things? And what if we could accept the way things are now, here and now? What if we could be present? What if all of these things are things we can learn from this crisis? If these things are chances for us, donated to us by the coronavirus, what if? Don't you think that we could change?